All right, here we are, the birthday episode, and I'm going to get right into it because birthday greetings are starting to come in on our international radio show, which is centered around your birthday today. So I want to bring in our first guest. Hello.
Greg, happy birthday!
Oh my God, Heather, Prosak.
Do I have a tan? Do I'm
Oh,
I'm in
you look,
Arizona right now, so I hope I got a tan.
isn't technology amazing? You know,
It's
we
so
used to used
good.
we used to have to pay people thousands of dollars to set up cameras and stuff, and here we are, three different places in the world. Thank you for popping in. I'm gonna let Val introduce you a little bit. We've
Okay.
been like kind of pseudo buddies for about 3 years here.
Yeah, yeah.
I am a huge fan of your work. I
I'm
follow
a
you.
huge fan of yours.
And over to Val on that a little bit. Introduce is awesome. That's like you're just parachuting into the show just like
Totally.
that. Boom. Go ahead, Val.
Yes, well, on this rapid deployment this morning, Heather and I go way back. She is one of my bestest, dearest friends for over 20 years. So if there's anything trendy happening, she looks to me. And, when I said you got to read the book, you got to read the book. And guess what, Heather? Special deal on this book. So what do you think?
I love
Recognize
it.
it? Yeah.
Yes, I do. It's by my bedstand, and I got Greg sent me a copy, and it was signed. And I remember he sent it to me at a time that I really, really needed it, and I just want to say thank you for that. You just have a heart of gold, Greg, and I think if people haven't met you, they need to know that about you. Number one, but you're fierce. You're
Oh,
fierce. I'm not saying you're a softie, okay?
did someone pay you to say that?
It's your birthday.
And look at this. I allowed a Canadian journalist on my
Thank
show.
you. Thank you so much.
No,
Well, I'm kind of
seriously.
in Arizona though right now, so
Oh, I know. That's okay. You're down where it's at, isn't it? Isn't it great
yes.
to have the sunshine, 70
Oh,
degrees or for whatever that is Celsius up there? Isn't it nice?
it
Thank
is
you so
so
much,
nice.
Heather. Back to you. You and Val kind of
Let
kick it
me let
around a
me do
bit.
a quick weather check
Yeah.
because back in Alberta, where
Oh, please don't do it. Don't do it.
it's
Okay, fine,
minus
do it.
26. So birthday greetings coming from Christine in Edmonton to you, Greg, and she said minus 26. That means if you touch the metal part of the door, your hand instantly sticks to it. So it's so good to be in Arizona where it's sunny and hot, and yeah. So this book, it goes all over the place. I want to do a quick plug for Greg real quick because for $5 limited time you can get it delivered to your inbox. So you can do that on his website, gregmeakin.com, or on Amazon. Now, Heather, you are all over the place with travel and anything you want to like touch on, let our audience know, like cool trips you've been on lately, anything
Well,
exciting.
so we did a family trip for the first time this year, which I think if you've never done a family trip, you need to get that, do it no matter what. Like Greg talked about birthdays and he talked about how, you never know if it's going to be your last birthday. I think it's important to at least get one family trip in. You really realize a lot about each other and yourself when you do it. Like I'm a
Yeah.
little bit of a control freak with time and stuff. Found that out about myself. But we went to Tombstone.
Nice.
Oh,
Tombstone, Arizona is incredible. Oh my goodness.
was it everything you'd expect it to be?
There's just so much history there.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that
I
was
didn't get
badass
to
area.
enough.
That
Yes,
was
and when you
badass area. What people don't realize about Tombstone, I don't know if they covered it when you were down there, is there was a war of the press. It was one of the first media wars they've ever had in the United States, and we're talking the mid to late 1800s. And because it was Republican versus Democrat newspapers
mm,
down there. And I mean, they were burning each other's offices down and stuff. So Tombstone was badass.
I actually
And
wondered about that because there was a part in there's a lot of like actors that you can check out the one gunfight, go see another gunfight, but when you sit back and actually see the little monuments and you realize no, like stuff happened here. This was a
yeah,
very big moment in history in the United States. Like you said, and that caught my eye, and I didn't know that, Greg,
yeah,
about the journalism part of it. That's
yeah,
very interesting and probably should be noted because they do bring up the newspaper part of it a
That's right.
lot, right? And so that must be the reason. And I didn't know that. So now I need to research the things
Secrets
you
from
learn.
here's what's funny. Secrets from the Inside. It's in the book.
Mhm.
I put in this media section. I said, "Hey, forget gunfights at old dusty corrals, or whatever. We forget the media today. We had Tombstone, Arizona in 1880s. One of the papers was the Epitaph, I believe, and the other was not. And they were just pure Republican Democrat, kind of like it is now,
Except
wearing their
we don't go
political button.
burning the office down.
So good stuff. So I would
We
watch
just delete
Tombstone.
Facebook accounts now.
Yeah, that's right. Did you go to
Right.
the Birdcage Theater and stuff? Tell me more about Tombstone.
I stepped in there. We were running out of time. You need a full day and then you need to go
Yeah,
back again. I that's how I felt about it. So I stepped in there. There's a lot of history there. That is a dark area to go into the birdcage area, I felt.
Yeah.
What else did we do? We went into one of the bars where they had the shootout. We went to the air near the OK Corral. We went around there and just to see like the place where it actually happened. It just gives you this realness that you can't get when it comes to things like people taking into account the fight. Give me one sec. Sorry, guys.
sure.
Yeah, so Heather and I go way back, like 20 plus years, and Heather worked really closely with me. Her and I kind of tag teamed, and I think tag teaming is a great thing to do in our industry. So that's just a little insider secret there. Anyways,
Sorry,
go
guys, I'm
ahead,
back.
Heather.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
so carry
So
on.
I ended up, we're about to take off to Mesa shortly. So we're like doing all the sightseeing. So I was just letting you know. But we ended up just going to check out all of the locations around. And when I noticed like you see the areas that are set up and they say, well, this is where it really happened. And that kind of takes you back from being in the tourist location and seeing it as a tourist location and
Right,
going, oh, right,
right.
this is real.
I mean,
This
they
was
stood
real.
right there. They
They
stood right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just it feels bigger. Feels like it's bigger than us. We're just a part of history walking forward. And I think that's where it sat and went, wow, there was right versus wrong always through all of history, through all of our walks, right versus wrong, and a little bit of gray too. Because some of those guys, even though they were the
Yeah.
good, they were a little gray too.
I'm so glad you brought up Tombstone. And look at this. We got just three investigative journalists here on the screen here. You got Val Olson, we got Heather Prosak. You're awesome. You do awesome work up there, Heather. You
Thank
move
you.
around. You're very mobile. You move around with a good message of freedom and all that stuff. And you would be known as a First Amendment person down here in the
Oh,
United
yeah. I
States.
believe in freedom of speech. I
you'd,
believe in it all. Yes.
you'd be known as the Queen of the Fourth Estate, kind of like a Val Olson. But the
Thank you
thing I
very
love,
much.
as a total side note, what I love is always inside scoop. What are the secrets? Whatever. And Tombstone, you bring up. I don't know anyone who's more researched in Tombstone, Arizona than me. Just weird. And I got a couple of book references for you. There's one out there where you just, oh, you got to be kidding me, how much you learn. And there's so much literature out there and so much, but I learned so much. But the one thing I always take from Tombstone, just that story, is that Wyatt Earp, and he was just a regular guy. I mean, he was just a very flawed guy. He was an entrepreneur, a business guy, he lost lots of money, but he was just this thing about law enforcement. And the thing about that people don't know, I'm actually writing a piece called the Wyatt Earp Syndrome. Everybody wanted a piece of him, of his name and everything else. But the interesting thing about Earp is he never got shot. I mean, all the shootouts and all the stuff, I mean, he never even got touched. There's one
Interesting.
of the major gunfights that they had. It was actually depicted in the movie where there's gunshots coming from everywhere at him, you know. And the worst he ever got was he had a bullet go through his coat.
That's a
And
hero.
also, yeah, and then also at Wyatt Earp, he didn't kill people. I think he was documented as having killed one person. I don't know if there's debatable stuff there,
Interesting.
but he was uh, he was a peacemaker. He was the best negotiator and diffuser of a situation, a
Well,
bad
it's
situation. So
it's
cool. It's
interesting
cool.
after we go through that. So we did the Tombstone, and then my dad's like, "Well, we now we need to watch Tombstone. Now we need to watch
Yeah.
it. So we're all sitting down, and my niece and nephew, who are 13 and 11, sat down and watched it. And then in that moment, I went, "Whoa, this is history too." Like that, like I thought, "Wow, how cool is this? They're getting to see something they would never watch a Western
Wow.
like now." So
Yeah.
I just encourage anyone that's watching that if you ever get a chance and you've never thought like going to a Tombstone, Arizona to go check it out, check it out. Bring the young ones because it's amazing how that's the only way we can pass information down generationally now. Hmm.
So good. I know you're on a tight timeline today. You're doing some
Mesa, Arizona
sightseeing.
next.
All
Yes.
right. Well, thank you so much for dropping in, Heather. That was amazing.
Happy
So
And
birthday,
awesome to
Greg.
oh,
Happy
thank you so
birthday.
much. It means so much. It really does. Thank you. Get on with your good work. We're going to be following you, and I know you'll be following the United States quite a bit in 2025. So here we go. Have a
You
great,
bet.
safe travels, and thank you so much, Heather Prosak, for dropping in.